Hi everyone, myself Dr. M. Lakshmi Prasad, working as an associate professor in data science department in Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So in this video, I'm going to discuss about missing data. So in like previous videos, I discussed how to handle the data and then what are the various sources we're going to collect from. We're going to collect the data from various sources like primary source and secondary source. So once the data is going to be gathered, then definitely there should be some data is going to be missed. Then how we're going to handle that. So that one I'm going to discuss in this video. So before going to see what is the missing data and all, we're going to see now. So what are missing data actually? So in statistics, the missing data or there may be a chance of missing values occur whenever no data value is stored for a variable in an observation, right? So in statistics, so the data may be in the form of value or it may be in the form of a data. So right, so that may be missed while we're going to gather the data from the various sources. So then that data is going to be stored, actually are going to be stored in variable, right? So sometimes it may be missed. And this is the situation mostly occur as a result of manual data entry procedures. So normally while collecting the data, so sometimes there may be a chance to enter the data manually. So at the time also there may be a chance of occurring of missing data here. And then equipment errors, right? And then incorrect measurements. So these are the some of the situations that may occur some missing data manually. So one is from manual data entry procedures. That is one of the way where you can able to miss the data, and then equipment errors, and then incorrect measurements. These are the some of the ways where you can able to get the missing data here. So what are the problems that are going to face with the missing data? So very first one is that loss of efficiency. So we can able to lose the efficient data. So while the data is going to be missed, and then the complications may occur in handling and then analyzing the data. So the complications may occur since the data is going to be missed. What should be the exact value? What should be the actual value? Right. So analyzing the data also sometimes is going to be very difficult here, and then biasing the result from the differences between the missing one and the complete data. So sometimes the differences may also show some wrong values, right? So to that some bias may occur, and then that errors may also be obtained. So and then in order to find the complete data here. So these are the problems mostly are going to be faced here while missing the data as a problem. So loss of efficiency, and then complications in handling and analyzing the data, and then biasing the result from differences between the missing and complete data. Then how are we going to deal with the missing data here? So the missing data are able to reduce the representativeness of the sample, and then therefore distort inferences about the population, right? So the missing data can able to reduce the representatives of the sample, right? And then some inferences may also be obtained from the population. So due to that, so there is a need to be use a special method, right, for dealing missing values. So if that method is going to be used for data analysis, so it must has its own policy how we're going to handle that missing values and all. So the missing data can able to reduce the representativeness of all the samples, and then can able to infer more about the population. So due to that, what will happen? So there is a need to use some special method for dealing that missing values, and then if that method is going to be used for data analysis, then we have to follow some policies for handling that missing values and all. So for dealing this missing data, we are going to maintain some decision rules extraction methods. So that may be considered for attributes with the missing data as a irrelevant, and then association rules extraction methods also going to be used, which may ignore the rows with the missing values. That means a conservative approach is the other way you can able to call it as, and then handling the missing values as they are going to supporting the rule called optimistic approach. So these are some of the approaches that are available that are designed for handling the missing data and all. So first one is that decision rule extraction method. So decision rule extraction method means we are able to uh, form the rules based on the decision, so yes or no. So based on that we can able to retrieve the data, and this is the data we are able to focus mainly on yes or no values. So all the time this decision extraction rules methods is going to be considered attributes, so where the data is going to be missed as a irrelevant. This is the first one. And the second one is that association rule extraction methods. So in this method, all the time this method is going to be ignore the rows. So what is having in the table? Suppose one row is having some missing value. So at the time what will happen? So we have to apply this association rule extraction methods, right? So it's able to call as conservative approach. And then third one is that handling the missing values. So how can you able to handle these missing values? So through where you can able to some random approach I can able to apply, so we can able to call it as optimistic approach. And then another way of dealing the missing data is reducing the data set. So reducing the data set means this is the simplest solution, so which can able to missing the data as a imputation problem here. And then so imputation problem is the reduction of the data set and then elimination of all the missing values. Suppose we are here, we are having a table, right? So in that table, some rows are available here. So and then what will happen? So we are going to get this is the question marks, right? So here I'm not getting any kind of values here. So at the time what will happen? Simply deleting this rows what I am getting this missing value, so that what will happen, the data set size will be reduced. So what will the size 1 to 5, but here I can able after deleting this I can able to get only 1 to 3. So this is the reducing the data set. So this is one of the way of handling this missing data. So reducing the data set is one of the way of dealing the missing data here. So we should able to provide the simple solution for handling the missing data imputation problem. So this imputation problem is going to be reducing based on concentration of the reduction of the data set and elimination of all the missing values. So this is the way we can able to reduce the data set, and this can be done by eliminating some of the sample rows with the missing values, or I can able to eliminate some of the attribute columns with the missing values. So this is one way. Just now what I said should be based on the rows. Suppose what is the another way here is I can able to delete the column also where I can able to get that missing value. Suppose if I'm going to get the missing value some columns I'm having, so if I'm going to delete the column also I can able to reduce the data set, right? So these are the ways where you can able to reduce the data set based on the rows as well as the based on the columns. And then so another way of dealing the missing data is that treating missing attribute values as the special values. So this is the another way we can able to deal with the missing data. So this method is going to be deals with the unknown attribute values using a totally different approach is going to be used here. So here, yeah, suppose if the data is mismatched, that when I'm going to be filled manually with some special values, right? So what will happen is, suppose here in this table I'm getting some missing values here, 1 2 3 and then 4 rows I'm having here in this table, and then here I'm getting some missing values like this. So what will happen through this method? So whatever the value I'm missing here in this table, so that one I'm going to be maintained with some special values like $1, or I can able to use %2 and then a question mark like that. So I can able to put this some special values here, 0 or null, whatever it may be. So like this I can also able to fill that table what I missed here. Through this method I can able to fill that values with the special values. So in this method, rather than trying to find someone known attribute value as its value, so we can treat this missing value itself as a new value for the attributes. So which can able to contain the missing values and treat it in the same way as the other values also, right? So instead of finding what is the exact value of here, So instead of finding that, so what will I am going to do through this method? So through this method I can able to find some known absolute values as it value, and based on the guess, and then we can able to treat this missing value as a new value for the attribute over here. So like this I can able to fill the data. So next one is that replacing the missing values with the mean. So this is the under where I can able to handle the missing data. So in this method, what will happen is this method is going to be replaces with each missing value with the mean of that attribute. So here the mean is going to be calculated based on all the values of that attribute, and then this method is going to be usually only for the numeric attributes are going to be maintained, and this one is going to be usually combined with replacing the missing values with the most common attribute value for the symbolic attributes, right? So in this method what will happen is, so whatever the data I'm missing in the table, so that one is going to be replaced with the mean value. So all the time the constraint should be here is, so all the time the table should be numerical value. So here we are not going to maintain any kind of strings or names, whatever it is. So at the time this method is not going to be applicable here. Suppose we are having the main table, right? So some tables may having some values xyz 20.5 and then PQR and then 4.3 like this, some data, some student name and then marks I'm getting here. So that at that time what will happen? So whatever is the data I'm getting, like LMN, so some data is missed. So at that time what will happen? This type of tables is not going to be applicable for this method. So what will happen? So this method is going to be applied only whenever we are going to maintain the numerical values. Suppose we are having the table like this, right? So 1 2 3 4, right? And then some values of particular row ID number is there. So ID 1, then ID 2, ID 3, and then ID 4, and then some values I'm going to be here. 6 marks of the student, or these are some other values I'm going to maintain here, and here some values missed here, and then 20 like this. So at the time what will happen? I have to calculate the mean value of this cell. So this mean value of the cell is going to be calculated on the known value. So what will the mean value? So let it be suppose some 10.3. So what is this mean value is going to be filled? What is the data what I missed here in this table? So like this I can able to fill that values what I'm getting here. So that one is going to be filled here in this table through the mean value. So the mean value of the cell is going to be calculated. So suppose it is 10.3. So that one is going to be filled in where the data is missed. So this is the other way. So this method mainly going to be replace the each value with the mean of that attribute. And then another one is that, so replacing the missing value with the mean for the given class. So this method is almost all similar to the previous one. So only the difference is that the mean is not going to be calculated here from all the known values of the attribute, but only the attributes belong to this given class are going to be used. So right. So what is the method what I told just now? So replacing the missing value with the mean. So replacing the missing value with the mean for the given class, right? So this is the other way. So this method is almost all similar to the previous method what I explained, right? So, but the only difference here is that here we're not going to calculate the mean value here from the known values of the attribute. Here what we're going to do is, so the attribute values belonging to the same class are going to be used. So let me explain this. So I'm going to maintain a table here. So some values I'm here. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 200, and then 110, 120, 130, 140. So like this I'm having. So here the data is missed here. Right? So in previous example what I said, so I'm going to calculate the mean value of 50, 60, 80 and 200. So the mean value of this column I'm going to be calculated. suppose if the mean value is around suppose 60 something, so that one is going to be replaced in this missing value. This is the way, that is the previous method. So now what I'm doing in this method is, so replacing the missing value for the uh, uh, attribute value belonging to the same class. So these are the values that are belonging to the same class. So what will happen, I can able to replace this value with the 60. I can able to replace this with 60, or otherwise I can able to replace with 80, or I can able to replace this value with 200. So the attribute belong to same class are going to be replaced here. Otherwise, I can able to replace the values that are belonging to this class. 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. Suppose here the data is, I can able to replace this missing value with these values also. I can able to replace with 30 or 120 or 300. So either of this I can able to replace here. That is the procedure of this replacing the missing value for the mean for the given class. So in previous method, just I am going to calculate the mean values of the cell and replacing the missing value. Here in this method, what I am going to do, I am going to replace the value that is belonging to the class of that value. I am going to be replaced. And then, so the replacing the missing value with the most common attribute value, right? So this is the under way of dealing with missing data. So replacing the missing value with the most common attribute value is the under way. So since the mean, if I'm going to calculate the mean, so there may be a chance to be affected by the presence of that outliers, seems to be natural to be use median instead of that, right? So in order to avoid that kind of problems, what I'm going to use here, so mean is going to be affect something into the table values. So instead of that, I can able to use the median also. So this is the under way. So in this case, what I'm going to do is, so in this method, the missing data for the given attribute is going to be replaced by the median of all known values of the attributes in the cell, where the instances with the missing values belongs. Right. So like this is the another way where I can able to handle the missing data with the median value. So mean. So previous two examples are going to be deal with the mean value. So whereas here, instead of mean, I can able to replace the missing value with the median. So let's suppose this is the table. I'm having some values here. Some 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, and 160, like this we're having. So previously what I'm doing, I'm going to calculate the mean value of this one, and if the data is missed here, and this one is going to be filled. So instead of this mean value, I can able to fill. So I can, another option is median. So median I can able to fill that. So the median of these values I can able to calculate it, and then I can able to fill that missing value with the median value. So this is the method what are going to be followed here with the most common attribute value. So the most common, suppose some other example also I can able to do explain it. So let's take a table here. Simply I'm taking 3 rows. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Right? So here what will happen is, so here the data is going to mix it, right? So here, so instead of this one, so what I have to do with the most common value. So what is the most common occurring is 40, or sometimes so I'm having some other row like 60. So among this is what is the most common value, 40, right? So this 40 is going to be filled. What is the data what I missed here, right? 40. So this is the method says like that. So instead of filling the value, I can able to replace that value with the median values, or I can able to fill that value with the most instances occurring where data is going to be filled with the missing data, right? And another handling missing data method is closest fit algorithm. So this is the algorithm what we're having for handling the missing values in the table. So this method is going to be used for uh, missing attribute values based on the replacing the missing attribute value with the existing value of the same attribute from another case that resembles as much as possible with the missing attribute values. So this is the closest fit algorithm method that is going to be used for filling the missing attribute values. So this method is going to be based on the values that is going to be replacing with the missing attribute with the existing value of the same attribute, right? Suppose here we are having the table. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows I'm maintaining here, and then these are the values I'm going to be used. And then so what will happen is, so here the data is missed here, right? So here what I am doing is, so this value is going to be replaced with the value that is going to be same or exact value. So similarly, suppose the temperature of the person I'm taking, suppose this is the value of temperature of person. So normally the body temperature of person will be 98.6 Fahrenheit, right? So many of the people know this value. So like this, so I can able to fill this missing value with the 98.6, right? So this is the way where I can able to fill the missing value through the closest fit algorithm. So this closest fit algorithm is based on the missing attribute value with the existing value of the same attribute, right? Other case is that same thing. So example, I'm taking one more example here. So if 5 attributes of a given case is known and 6th attribute and 6th is being the such, and 6th attribute value is taken from the case which has other 5 attributes which is not most similar to the given case, right? Suppose we are having 5 attributes, so is known and 6th attribute is going to be searched, right? Like this, just now what I said. So here I'm going to maintain 5 attribute values. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 attribute values I know, and 6th attribute I unable to find it. So at that time what will happen? So the 6th attribute value is going to be taken from the case which has other 5 attribute values most similar to the given case. So which is the most similar same thing? Suppose say this one and these factors are same almost. So this is the temperature related row and this one also temperature related row. So here 30 I'm taking here. So this, since this one is almost all related to the temperature attribute, so based on that what will happen? So this attribute, what are the data I'm missing here? So that one is going to be filled with the 30 here. Clear? So just now what I said previously, so the temperature of the person normally 98.6. So based on the knowledge I can able to fill it, right? So what is the another way is, suppose 5 attributes are known and 6th attribute is going to be such, what will happen? So based on the term, what the row is going to be related. So whether this row is going to be related to the first row or second row, third row, fourth row and fifth row. Suppose if this row is going, suppose here the third row and sixth row is going to maintain the temperature details, suppose example, so that I can able to fill this what is the data I'm missing here, sixth one, right? So this sixth one is going to be filled with the matched row. So that is the closest fit algorithm method. So here you can able to, based on the distances calculation also I can be able to fill that missing values. So already many of them know that we're going to calculate this missing data. So the distance of x comma y is equal to sum of 1 to n2 distance of xi to yn. So how the distance of xi y is going to be calculated? It should be 0 if xi is equal to yi, and the distance should be 1. So whenever the x and y are the symbolic and xi is not equal to yi, right, where I have to know the xi and yi values. Otherwise I can able to calculate is mod of xi minus yi by r. So where r is the maximum difference of the values or the minimum difference of the values here, right? So the problems with the one closest case may be lied in replacing the value by an outlier. So based on the distances also I can able to fill the missing data what I'm getting. Yeah. the table. So based on the distance equation. So the distance equation is that the distance should be 0 whenever if xi value is equal to yi value, and the distance is equal to 1 whenever this symbolic constant xi is not equal to yi. This is one of the case where xi is something or y is something value, and actual value is the distance of x comma y is that the mod of xi minus yi by r. So where r is nothing but the maximum difference between the maximum values or the minimum of the known values. So most probably the values what I'm getting the outside of this is going to be filled with the values. Suppose so this is the cluster we are having. So the outliers is the values that may be lie on this. So based on this value, therefore the value which is the closest to the cluster is going to be filled on the table. So like this, I can able to fill the missing data also. So some of the problems is going to be illustrated by following example. Suppose the floor area is here and rental price. So this is the table floor area I'm taking as 45, 52, 50, 54. Like this I'm taking, and then rental price so should be 10,000 for 45 meters square and 13,000 for 52, and then but what about 54? So here this thing should be considered as a missing data. How we're going to fill it? So what are the different ways? So just now what I said is, so one is through I can able to fill this with some special values. I can able to fill it, so let it be through 13,500 like this, or 14,500, some special values. So dollar I can able to add. So this is one way. Or what is the other way of missing handling value, where I can able to calculate the mean values of entire thing, and let it suppose the mean value is around some 15,000. So this 15,000 is going to be filled here. So this is the other way. And what is the other way here? So the most common, so the most I can filling the values with the most common value. So what is the most common occurring value here is almost at 13 and 13,500. So this one is going to be filled here. Either I can able to fill it with 13,000 or I can able to fill it with 13,500. This is the other way. Or I can able to fill with median. So instead of calculating the mean value, so I can able to calculate the median. So median is what here? Suppose the median is something we are getting the 15,000. So this median value is also going to be filled with the table what I missed value. Right? So what is the other way? So suppose 54 and 55. So this one this two one is related to 54 and this one also related to 55. Since the values, since 54 is not that much difference is having with the 45, and this 54 is having that much difference with the 62. So what is the closest one? So according to the closest fit algorithm, so the 54 is going to be related to 52 and 54 is going to be related to the 55 according to the closest fit algorithm. So the closest fit is what happened. So I can able to fill with the 11,000 or I can able to fill with the 18,000. Suppose if I'm going to fill with 11,000 is one option here according to closest fit, or I can able to fill with the 18,000 is the another option we are having. So like this. So what is the data I'm going to be faced that should be filled with the examples what I explained previously, right? So one is through missing the value with the mean is the one example. So just know what I said, and missing the mean value for the given class. So based on the class also I can able to fill the data what I missed in the table, and then the missing the value with the common attribute. So with the what is the most common attribute is available in the column and the row, I can able to fill it, and then according to the closest fit. Suppose one term the one row is having some much related to the another row. So what will happen? So that one is going to be filled with the miss value. That should be closest fit. And then I can able to calculate the missing value based on the distance formula also. So based on distance also I can able to fill the values. And this is the example what I explained just now. And then So what are the methods that are available for handling the missing data? So till now what I said, so these are the some of the ways where I can able to fill it, right? But we're having some methods are available here, so handling the missing data. So suppose one thing is that, so deletion methods, so delete the cases or the variables that are missing. So just now it said, right, suppose we're having the table. So in this table, some rows are missed here. So 11, 12, 40, 50, and then 50, 60, 89. So this is one missing data we're having, and this is another missing data what we're having here. Right? So these are the table. So deletion means simply ignoring this, deleting this case, and then deleting the row, and then here also you are having, right? So deleting this and then deleting this. So then what will happen? The data set size will be reduced, and so instead of 5 I'm having only 2 rows. Or I can, what is the other way? So another way is that I can able to delete the column also. So what will happen? So entire table is going to be deleted, and simply some data set is going to be maintained here. So like that, the deletion methods is available. So how are going to delete it, and based on what factors I can able to delete it and all that one I can able to explain. So for that, what are the methods we're having? So for that one we're having list-wise methods. So list-wise methods is one of the method, and then pair-wise deletion. So pair-wise deletion is another method, and variable deletion. So simply deleting the variable is the variable deletion, or pair-wise. Suppose, so this is the pair we're having. So deleting the pair and filling this remaining values with the some special value, or I can able to fill with the distance value, or I can able to fill with the main value like this. So these are the some of the deletion methods what we're having. So let me explain this in detail for the next video. I can able to, most probably I can able to explain with an example. And then similarly imputation methods. So imputation methods means nothing but substitution methods. So these substitution methods, what are the different ways of substitution methods we're having? So we are having different types of substitution methods, like simple imputation. So in simple imputation itself, we're having so many things. So mean imputation and conditional mean imputation, and then case mean imputation, and then regression imputation, and then last observation carried forward imputation, and then worst case imputation, and then best case imputation, and EM imputation. So imputation means substitutions. So we just now I said, right. So substitution means I can able to fill the what is the data is missed here. So that one is going to be filled with the mean imputation, or I can able to fill with the conditional imputation or case mean imputation like this. So similarly, some other imputation also available, so like regression imputation, and then last observation carry imputation, worst case, and then best case, and then EM. So these are some of the other imputation methods. So that one I'm going to discuss in detail in the next video, right? So like this, we're having so many different handling methods are available for missing the data. So first one is deletion methods. So deletion methods are nothing but list-wise methods, pair-wise deletion, and variable deletion. So three methods we are having simply for deleting the missing value what I'm getting in the table. And then imputation methods are nothing but the substitution methods. So in that simple imputation means simply I can able to fill the missing value, single value, right? So for that, how are you going to fill that? So that one should be mean imputation is the one of the one, and conditional mean and case mean. So like this, I can able to fill that mean values and all. And then some other imputations will be regression imputation, worst case, best case, average, like this. So like this, we're going to handle this missing data. So since the missing data becomes a big problem while gathering the data for in order to get the efficient and consistent data. So for that, definitely in any case, so these methods will be applicable. So try to remember all these things, and that should be very useful here. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.